Welcome back, everyone, to another discussion with Life with Latoya. I want to first thank every last one of you for that have been supporting continuously, weekly, enjoying the discussions. I really would appreciate it if to all of you that take time out to watch the discussions, if you will leave comments below, like engage, give me some feedback, some, how was the discussion? Was there something that you took away from it? Is there something that you wish I would have said more of? So please get into the comments. Feel free to engage in the comment section. To you that are joining in for the very first time, welcome. I welcome you here. And I hope you enjoy the discussion, and please subscribe to my channel. We have been talking and covering the keys to life. Life means living in fulfillment every day for the past 10 weeks. Yes, we are entered into our 10th week, and there is only 12 keys. So today we're going to be talking about embracing your tests and trials. And I want to just really take my time with this key because I think this is such an important key. This key is you will find your tests and trials on every key, in every key. Tested in knowing who you are, tested in trials in your purpose and vision, your mind, all of those things. So this is really important. And instead of avoiding our tests and trials, I am sharing that we need to embrace them. So we're going to move on. I want to cover a few things. I want to talk about different tests and trials we faced that comes our way and different areas that we're tested in. I also want to talk about the purpose of tests, so the why. And then I want to move into how to pass our tests. How do we get the best out of our tests? So let's move on and move forward into the discussion. So, test and trials. Who likes those? I know I don't. But even on a daily level, I mean, you tested at your job, you're tested to go to school. Everywhere you go, you have to face and pass some level of test. And we know that in being tested, you have to be able to overcome the test, to conquer whatever it is you're being tested in. And so I want to first just talk about the areas that we're tested in. There's so many things, ways that we face tests and trials through our relationships, which is big, with our family, our loved ones, our spouses, our friendships. We're tested in our words. I've been tested this week with my integrity and being consistent and my commitment. We're tested in things that trigger us. Our strengths, our weaknesses are tested. We're tested in our finances, in our responses, our attitudes, our spiritual walk with God. Your relationship with God is tested. So there are so many different areas that we're tested in. And why? Why do we face trials and tests? For many reasons. For one, the Bible states that tests and trials come to make us strong. And I believe that. That's why I am suggesting and saying to us today that we need to embrace our tests. Tests also come to prove and test your faith. Your faith is tested. Let's say that it's an area that you're standing in, you're believing and trusting God in. It could be a job. It could be a situation. It could be your marriage. Whatever it is that you're standing on, trusting for. Those places, things come to test. Is she serious? Is he serious? How bad do they want it? What happens when tests come and you're not prepared for them? How do we get prepared for tests? Or how can we overcome tests? Another thing is tests come to show us or reveal areas that needs to be strengthened. That's a healthier way to say it. Areas of our life that we struggle in that need strengthening. Also, tests come to show us how strong we are. It tests our patience, our endurance, our commitment, our mindset. All of those things are tested. And we have literally went over so many keys that we face with tests and trials. Like I said, knowing who you are, your purpose and vision, your mindset, your commitment. We're tested in holding on to people that we're supposed to let go, changing our environment and how we protect it. There's so many different ways and things that we're tested in, but it is so important to identify and understand the tests when they come. Have you ever been in a situation where you're like, why does this thing, something just continually keep repeatedly happening? And you're like, why does this thing keep showing up? Why can't I pass? Or why is it happening? Well, for numerous reasons. One could be because it's time for you to go to a different place. It's time for you to conquer or overcome whatever that struggle is that you're facing. It can also be testing something you've already overcome, and it's coming back around and knock on the door to see is she really changed? Is she really ready? Will she pass this test? Or will I be able to catch her at a point, or him or her at a point of their weakness, to fall back into the traps and the snares of whatever those struggles are? So it's important to identify what our tests are, why they're there. What is it that it's testing? Is it testing my commitment? Is it testing my words? Did I declare something powerful in the atmosphere and now it's saying, oh yeah, you think you're going to do that? You think you're going to be this? Let's see if you're ready. And then the tests and trials come. Even on a spiritual level, you're tested. You know, we're tested when we're standing in faith, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. We could be tested to believe something that either God has told us or we've been believing for, but we can't see it right now. So your faith is being tested to see if you're going to be able to endure to the end, to that very thing that you're believing for manifest. I want to talk more so in the areas where we need to embrace the test and conquer the areas where we struggle the most. And it's important. Just like in the natural, when you go before a test comes, a teacher will give you a test. Sometimes you're not even prepared. It's a pop quiz. One of those tests that's just like random, just to see where you're at, just to see how well you'll do. But I want us to be able to see the test, study yourself. That's why knowing yourself to me is so important. We have to study ourselves and know ourselves and be honest with ourselves and own. When we talked about in a previous key and we talked about identifying patterns, that is really being able to pay attention, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and being honest with them so that when the tests come, you can pass them. From a spiritual standpoint, the enemy never has any new tests. Nothing new. He only has where he tripped you up last. And so if we do the necessary insight work, when we cultivate our relationship with God the way we're supposed to, when we identify our purpose and our vision, and we walk through each step that gets us closer and cultivates us to becoming our best selves, we're going to be able to be sober enough and not moving off of our emotions. We're going to be able to see tests sometimes when they come, and we're going to be able to say, no, that's familiar. I know who sent you. I know why this thing is here, and I am equipped to pass it. I was tested here recently with something very deep. But what was so different about me going through this test is it's like God allowed me to see what it was supposed to do to me. You know, have you ever been in a situation and you're not emotionally tied to it? It's like you're in it, but you're on the outside of it. So I was able to see this is a familiar place. This place is supposed to make me down or depressed, or I'm supposed to not be able to get up from this place. But not only was I able to identify it, and I saw it like I was able to see my injury list. You know, all the areas I had fallen, all the areas that the enemy had made me down or depressed, or the ways that I was able to be tripped up in times past. I was able to look at that test. And I was able to see the list of what I was supposed to, according to how the test came, what it was supposed to do from a negative standpoint. And I looked at that test and I laughed. Not so. It gave me, with me being able to see and be able to identify past patterns, and to really be able to take and understand the lessons of things that I have come from, that I have overcame, and really have done that work in those areas to be able to say, these now are my keys. These now is it's my ammunition to be able to dismantle the test that's sent by the enemy. But I embrace every test and trial because there's always something I can get out of it. And there's, whether that is for the positive of the strengthening, like to me, that test gave me insight. It came, but it showed me more of who I am and how far along I came by being able to identify my injury list. We all have an injury list. And when we're when we're in a better place and operating from a more healed and a more whole place, you're going to be able to look at that injury list. Even when similar things come to injure you the same, you're going to look at that injury list and say, I don't live there no more. I can now see the list and see what the enemy or whoever I'm being tested with, or how I'm being tested, however the tests and the trials come. And now they come and they make me strong because I'm now able to identify. I'm on the inside versus being on the outside, having to yet still learn from certain things because I'm still struggling in those areas. And yes, There's plenty of areas that I'm still working on. But I want to talk about embracing our power to overcome every test and trial by identifying and knowing who we are and being able to say, these are the areas of my strength, and these are the areas that I need to be worked on, so that when those tests and trials come, instead of saying, why am I going through this? You can say, this is why. This is what this place is coming to do. These are attacks, or this is coming to build my character and make me strong. So when we look at it and we see tests as embracing them, we win. We become victorious in them. That's how we overcome our tests and trials. Yes, we pray. For those that are spiritual, that believe in God, we pray, we fast, but we still have work to do. After you've prayed, after you've fasted, after you've talked to your friends, after you still got to walk that thing out. You still have to overcome that test. And let me tell you something, even in the natural, when you go to take a test, unless you cheat, nobody can give you those answers. You have had to study to show your own self-approved to pass those tests. So in the natural, so in the spirit. So get familiar with learning yourself and identifying what your triggers are, where the areas that you struggle and need deliverance, how repeatedly the tests come, so that you're not continually going in that the test is coming. You're looking at it and it keeps knocking you down the same way over and over and over again. Take your power by embracing your tests and trials, allowing them to make you strong, equipping you to overcome, heal, and be set free in every area of your life. I rejoice this week to be able to look at my injury list. And I say that because I want you guys to see it that way. What is your injury list? If there was an enemy, not if there is an enemy, if anyone was to bring you an injury list as an accuser, or to say, relationships we go through and we say, they don't have nothing new. You're coming to reject me, abandon me, whatever the struggles are. If they're your lust, your desires, whatever it is, be true to yourself. And another thing, you have to be ready. If you're not prepared and ready, and you say, I'm ready, I can do it, I know I can, but you didn't do the work, the inside work necessary, the spiritual work necessary to be able to overcome every test and trial. Yeah. So embracing our test and trials, every test and trial, it does not have to be a negative. It's definitely designed for a positive. And in the areas that it comes from the negative, when you really got in tune with yourself and you really evaluate your injury list, you're going to be able to dismantle the powers or the works of the enemy and the ways that he uses things and people to overcome you. I hope this was very helpful to you today. That's all I have for you. We will move forward in embracing our tests and trials and overcoming them all. Yes, them all. Be blessed. Leave your comments in the comment section. thank you all for being patient and persistent. And again, I apologize to every last one of you for not being as punctual these last two discussions. You guys, until next time, be blessed.